Hi there, please like and subscribe if you can. Some of you might not know this, but I'm actually a graphic designer. I've always been creative, I've always doodled and drawn, but I've never really shared my own work. I've always worked for companies or other people, and my products have been out there in various different forums, but as for my own artwork, I've never shared it. So I've decided, as of early on this year, that I'm going to start doing more artwork and putting it out there for the public to have a look at. So I've designed some t-shirts, I've done some sketches, there's a few things about my allotment, and I'll ping a few pictures up here, there and everywhere. So please, if you'd like to support me in any way, maybe buy a piece of my work, and I've also created a Amazon wish list, and I don't expect anyone to buy me anything off the wish list, but you never know, if there's a multimillionaire out there who would like to buy me a beer, then feel free. And anyone who buys anything off my wish list, email me, send me your address, and what I will do is I will ping you over some artwork, whether it be a little postcard or a big canvas. I'll do a piece of artwork and I'll send it over to you so you can have your own original Ross Minton. Yeah, so just thought I'd give something back. So that's it really. Again, please like and subscribe, and here's the video. So during my lazy November, I've had a chance to think about my allotment and what I want to do next year. I've already dropped hints about how I'm planning on having more of a food forest, having more of a perennial system rather than growing annual veg. I'm still going to grow my tomatoes and my cucumbers and my beans and potatoes and things like that because we eat them and I love them. But as for probably 50% of my allotment next year is going to be fruit bushes, strawberries, rhubarb, gooseberries, apple, all that kind of thing, simply because they're the things that, to get good quality in the shops, cost a lot of money. An apple or a raspberry or a strawberry, when you've grown it yourself, it tastes so much better than ones you buy in the shops. They're expensive in the shops. Even the bog standard cheapy brands are quite expensive. So to be honest, I think in food forest, and more importantly fruit forest, should do us quite well actually. And it also means there'll be less manual labour for me, which is all good with my back situation, because I can put my fruit bushes in and it'll just be a case of pruning them and mulching them, and any weeds I can no-dig them, cardboard on top, big layer of bark, job done. So that's the plan for that half of the allotment, which is the allotment, which is the side where the bath pond is. As for the other side of the allotment, where the greenhouse is, that is going to be the same as this year really, but basically focused all around raised veg. That's going to be focused more around raised beds, and obviously that will be my salads and all my annual crops really. One of the biggest jobs that I want to do for next year is I want to really increase the chicken coop. I would love to have my hens free ranged down the allotment, but it's just not practical or possible. And to be perfectly honest, it's not safe for the chickens because there is foxes about, and even if I had a timer switch to lock and close them in at night, there's always a chance that one decides to stay out later than it should and ends up getting locked out. There's always a chance that it get caught unawares and the sensor opens, but Mr. Fox has decided to stay out an extra hour that morning because he's desperately in need of food. There's all those risk factors, and to be perfectly honest, I think that having free-ranged hens down the allotment is just a no-go for me. Not on this site anyway, and certainly a risk that I don't really want to take, if I'm honest. So as you've seen with my system, it's obviously a series of chicken tunnels, a series of runs and hutches and coops that are all connected some way, so the chickens have got a little bit of freedom. And obviously they can come inside, outside, they can go in shade, they can go and sunbathe. They haven't got their dust bath in there at the moment, but they will have very soon. And obviously I think that works quite well for them. To be perfectly honest, it's more space than they've ever had, because obviously they are ex-batteries, and, you know, perfectly honest, they've probably got 10 times the amount of space, maybe 20 times the amount of space they had when they were cooped up in the battery farms. So I don't feel too guilty, but I would like to give them more space. I want to give them as much space as I can physically manage, but at the same time, it all comes down to that. And so I can't afford to just go out and buy chicken coops. I can't afford to go out and buy chicken wire. Well, for me, I think it's expensive. It's about £50 for a roll, and you know, you think of how much chicken wire you actually need to make a good sized run. You know, you're probably looking at the best part of half a roll, and then the timber on top of that. And I know you can do it with old pallets and things, but it's still money. It's, you know, it's still petrol in my car going to pick up pallets. It's still chicken wire. It's still staples and nails and everything you can possibly think of. You know, hinges, doors, latches. If I can find things online for free from Free Cycle, if I can raid my granddad's shed, which I do all the time, and to be perfectly honest, I think it's almost raided out, I will build some more. But other than that, until I can find more free chicken coops, I don't think there's much more I could do, which is a bit of a bummer. But I'm going to have a concerted effort with searching over the winter and see if I can get my hands on some chicken coops, dog kennels, rabbit hutches and things. I've got a couple of rabbit hutches at home, which are too small for chickens, but I'm going to see if I can possibly sell them, you know, and then if I get £10 each for them, it goes towards chickens, isn't it, really? So really and truthfully, that's my plans for the next probably 6 months. Probably take me up until, you know, the mid-growing season. Is to get some more fruit bushes, or at least get the area prepared so I can put some words to see me, or at least get the area prepared so I can put some fruit bushes in when I get some, or I can even put some strawberries in the meantime and have a strawberry bed, and then next year I can pull those strawberries out and put fruit bushes in. And then obviously get the raised beds down here that I've made at home, get more raised beds on the plot, get those filled up. Fingers crossed I should have lots of compost coming from the chickens, probably, I don't know, February, March time. It should be all nice and, I don't know, what's the word, fermented out, I suppose, composted. Yay, composted. Yeah, so fingers crossed that should be done. So that should save me some money there, filling up those raised beds, and then get that greenhouse up. And then I should be sorted. There's a couple of other things. Oh, there's a wasp. Hello, Mr. Wasp. You're very late. Appreciate it if you left me alone. Anyway, so where was I? I was rudely interrupted by Mr. Wasp. There is a couple of other jobs that I would like to do, but these are just, I suppose, I wouldn't say unrealistic goals, but they're jobs that I'd like to sort out, but I haven't got the finances and I can't see me doing it anytime soon, and that is to sort out the fence all the way around the plot. I would love a nice neat fence. I would love just some stock stakes and some nice wire around there, maybe even a nice pallet fence if I could get 20 or 30 pallets that are all the same, you know, size, shape, dimension. Do something like that just to tidy it up a bit. But again, it's cost. It's all cost. And when you're trying to do an allotment, which is basically make, do and mend, it's going to get dark in a minute because the chickens just pulled my jumper and shut the door. Oi, chicken, come here. It's like having children down here, it really is. So that's it really, that's my plans for next year. Pretty tame, I think. You know, there's no great big redesign going on. It's just a continuation of the plans from last year really. So, have you done now? Interrupted me. So yeah, so that's the plans for next year. Did you like them? She seems to like them. I think the idea of extending Peckingham Palace is quite nice, isn't it, girlie? Yes. So, from me and from Interrupting Hen here, speak soon.